to our second game of our doubleheader today. Our second game of our doubleheader is a men's game. Bronx Community College against Queensborough Community College. The National Junior College Athletic Association Region 15 and Queensborough promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Negative comments, profanity, racist, sexist, or other abusive comments or actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated. Queensborough thanks you for your support and your cooperation. And now, the starting lineup, the Bronx Community College Broncos. Number 1, Keron Williams. Number 3, Jayton Pierce-Byers. Number 5, Johan Almonte. Number 11, Jonathan Frazier. And number 23, Kyle Lewis. The assistant coach for the Broncos, Amanda Ford, Jason Joseph, David Thornmore, Lamont Watson, Warren Thompson, and the head coach is Sean Kelly. And now the starting lineup, the Queensborough Community College Tigers. From Johns High School, number 20, Stephen Nugent. From Franklin Tree Lane, number 32, Ted Tuttle. From Mark Vanderbilt High School, number 15, Isaac Manning. St. John's Prep, number 2, Elijah Johnson. And from Francis Lewis High School, number 22, James Wells.
This is QCC alum David Russell along with Joe Massey. Game 2 of the doubleheader about to begin. Tigers against the Broncos. Starting 5 for the Bronx, Keron Williams, Jayton Pierce-Byers, Johan Almonte, Jonathan Frazier, and Kyle Lewis. Starting 5 for the Tigers, Elijah Trotman, Vladimir Mitty, Stephen Bruton, James Wills, Kay McDonald. Can't tell which team is which because I look at the Bronx sideline and I see Damian Broadwater and Larry Dantzler on the bench. Are we sure that's not the Queensborough staff?
I know. Isn't that something?
Damian was an assistant here for about 20 years. Larry was the head coach here for 3. Queensborough won their first game of the year against Dutchess a few nights ago. Wasn't the most beautiful game to watch, but when it's the first win of your season, you don't have to apologize. Bronx has lost their last 2. They lost to Sullivan, and then they lost to BMCC in overtime. Queensborough was hoping the win against Dutchess could kind of carry them into tonight. And the Tigers win the opening tip.
It's important for the Tigers to get off to a very good start tonight, particularly against this ball club.
McDonald, Bruton, thought about the jumper, Trotman outside. Shot clock down to 6, 3-pointer from Mitty is no good, and rebounded by Lewis. And Broncos look for the first points of the game.
Well, the last few years, they've been playing the game at another level, Dave, along with that terrific BMCC team last year, which captured everything. We were wondering if they were going to be able to do it, and they did.
It's like BMCC won the CUNY, but then they lost in the Region 15 title game to Hostos, who they already beat 3 times last year.
How do you like that, right?
Solid year for Region 15.
Without Dr. Jody King. And
Lewis beats the shot clock, and it's 2-0 Broncos. All right, Jody King went to Mercy, the D2 school.
So it's a 2-0 lead for the Bronx. These teams matched up in the final, not last year, not the year before, but the year before that, and we were down there at BMCC. Of course, we remember Queensborough had knocked off Hostos to get to that final, but then Bronx was just too good for them.
Bronx was up by 21 in that game, and Queensborough cut it to 5 with about 6 minutes to go, but they couldn't get closer than that. That was a good game.
Wasn't as good as the Hostos game, though. That was an outstanding game.
And a three-pointer from Karan Williams. It's 5-0.
Yeah, it was a close game in the beginning, and then they started doing things like that. What Williams just did there, hit the outside shot, and turned Queensboro over. And as you said, Queensboro did get back in it.
Got to watch Bronx. They could score a lot of points. They scored 102 in a game against Bergen.
And they can score a lot in a hurry.
They beat Nassau 91-88. They put up 92 against Suffolk.
Yeah.
There's Trotman with the first points for the Tigers.
They can overwhelm you.
Even when they lost to Sullivan the other night, they scored 91. It wasn't the offense that was the problem. Pass is tipped. Wills almost stole it. Lewis' shot was altered. McDonald, the long pass to Mitty. Stayed in bounds. Trotman, nice fake. Back to Mitty, and Mitty tried to dunk it, lost it on the way up, but he was fouled.
He got bailed out there. He was bailed out because Mitty didn't really know what he was going to do with that ball. By the way, Tom Sinnickson's in the building tonight, and he turns out for the good games, I think. He wants to give the Tigers a little added something to give them a little zing.
And the new players go who?
His former coaches over there, they get a little excited to see him here.
Mitty splits the free throws. It's 5-3. And that shot is sent away by Mitty.
You know, it's only one play, but it does bring the crowd alive. And you need every bit of it when you're playing a team this good.
You think on paper this game would really favor Bronx. Fake the three. They go back outside. Here's a three-pointer. It's no good, and Wills couldn't haul in the rebound, and the Broncos will get it back.
It's only a joke, but I think it lined up that way in the sporting news. There is no more sporting news.
Yeah.
That's how far we've come. Look at that.
Corner three. No good. Trotman with the rebound and running in transition. Gets it to Bruton. Bruton to the basket. Misses. And then a tie-up between Wills and Pierce Bias.
Wills went right in there going after that ball, and the tie-up is going to give it over to Bronx. I must say, though, Bronx plays a very quick pace. That might help the Tigers a little bit because there are a lot of athletic kids on the Tigers who like to get up and down the court.
Nice move. The shot over Bruton is no good. Rebounded by Frazier.
And fouled by our man there.
Well,
that's only the first, and we always think Wills don't pick up another one.
Broncos leading 5-3, a little over 3 minutes in. And there's another foul.
Well, it's good. They're contesting the shots.
Now to do it without fouling, and that's the first one on Mitty. Frazier hits the first. He's averaging 14 points per game.
There's Rodney down there, I think.
Splits the free throws at 6-3 and almost stolen.
How do you like that? Rodney missed the women's game. He came for the men's game tonight.
You think it'd be the other way around, right?
Maybe he knew something that we didn't know.
Mitty to the basket and lays it in.
An explosive move by Mitty there.
6-5. There's a three. He took that from Bronx Community College, but then the tip in by Almonte.
That gave the Lady Tigers a lot of problems in the first game. You got to box out after you make that initial stop. And how many times do we see Bronx convert in the first game like that?
You're kind of caught watching where the shot goes. Bruton is straight on three. It's no good. Wills with the offensive rebound. Then stripped away. And Almonte goes sliding out of bounds, but Bronx called timeout, so he'll get the ball.
How about that? That's using your noodle.
So the guys you got to watch out for on the Broncos, Pierce Bias has about 14 a game. Frazier. There's Richard Gethers, who has 13 a game. Almonte and Williams with almost 10 apiece. And Almonte, the leading assist man, with 5 a game.
Well, this fella here, Sean Kelly, he came in and pretty much turned the program on its ear. Actually, they had success before he got there.
Yeah, they won
right.
11 and 12 with Shannon McKinnon.
Yeah, that's right, with McKinnon. But those two have really turned the whole Bronx fortunes around because they were really not a good ball club before that. I remember former head of the CUNY, Ted Hurwitz, and I were doing a game in the Bronx where they were playing Hostos, and I mean Hostos just had them for dinner. It was a lopsided game as you can get.
There's a deep three from Almonte. It's long, and Mitty with the rebound. They have a 2-on-1. Mitty to Bruton. The pass was high, and it's turned over. Almonte the other way. You don't need the fancy lob pass there. Although that may have been the best angle. That shot is no good, and then a foul against the Bronx. And pushing off.
Yeah, he went in there a little too vigorously and a little too late, and he pushed forward, grabbed the ball, but it was not done properly, so it'll be Tiger ball. First
foul on Kyle Lewis. Pass was deflected. It still gets to Bruton. Coach Amengo saying hold it. That's why Trotman slowed down and looked to the bench. 4.5 minutes in, Bronx leading 8-5. McDonald being guarded by Lewis.
You got to have some movement off the ball here.
Yeah, while standing around, Trotman's jumper is good.
Hey, Trotman can shoot it when you give him that opportunity. Yes.
Almonte outside. Pierce Bias almost lost it, then the spin move. They still have 16 on the shot clock, no rush. Williams to Almonte, going inside, and they get him on a charge. He ran over Wells.
Wouldn't you just love to see the Tigers pull off like a 12-0 run in this building and make it a little easier on themselves at some point? We've been here 3 times, and every time they get involved in a game like this. And you'd love to see them just reel off some points.
Well, you would think the Broncos would be really favored in this game, but we've been to games where we expect a blowout sometimes, and it turns into a good game, and Bruton gives Queensboro a 10-8 lead.
Well, let's face it, Dave, this means a lot to Queensboro tonight, this game. They need a win. I think this game means more to them than it does to Bronx tonight.
And there's the second foul on James Wells.
Wouldn't you say that? I mean, Bronx won't live or die with this game. I think Queensboro really needs this game.
Queensboro already 0-4 in conference. Bronx is 2-2.
And they have the lead, by the way, and we haven't said that too much. When you're playing at home, you do not want to constantly play from behind. You want to get the edge at some point. And then things can bounce your way a little bit, and you pull off a fluky victory. We'll take it.
Traveling is called. They get Gethers for too many steps.
I'll tell you this, as good a coach as Sean Kelly is, he probably told his players, you better go there tonight and be ready to play. Because these are talented young guys. They're not bad, the Tigers.
Bruton going baseline. Nice pass to Anthony Smith, and Smith puts it in. It's 12-8 Queensboro. Tigers with the early 4-point lead. Almonte, they call a blocking foul.
Anthony Smith, the guard out of Grady, making that last play for the Tigers. That's what I mean. They have some talent on this team.
First foul on Anthony Smith.
And when you come out of Grady High School, you usually know how to play basketball. And he's about 6'3",
few shot fakes and then a pass to reverse the ball. Pierce Bias. Bruton with the hand in his face. Now they switch off, it's Mitty. Pierce Bias, a tough shot, and they call another charge.
Excellent D by the Tigers. They picked him up 2 or 3 times trying to get behind that screen, and that caused the charging. And I like what I'm seeing from Queensboro so far.
Well, surprise, Queensboro calls the timeout. It's big, that's the second foul on Pierce Bias.
That was a Queensboro timeout, right?
Yeah.
Coach Amengo has to be telling them, guys, let's keep this going. Let's keep this going right now. Let's ride the Queensboro train.
And remember the game we had here, they were down by 16 at the half, took the 1-point lead, and then lost by 24 anyway.
Yeah.
He robbed the point after the game, and he might be saying it now. Hey, are we just going to play good for 8 minutes or 10 minutes? That's not enough.
And you have to remind them what they just did well for, well, here you're going a half, so now you're back to the half play. So you have to remind them what they did well for 5 minutes there, and you have to keep doing it. Space it another 5 minutes. And these are young guys. You got to tell them this is what you did, and that's why you're ahead right now. And let them expend all the energy. You use the brain power right now.
Got to watch out because Bronx could score in bunches at any time, Joe.
Carl is out there almost like instructing them for the next 5 minutes. So he really wants this ball game.
So the Tigers lead 12-8, a little over 6 minutes in. Trotman to McDonald. Back to Trotman, thought about the 3, kick out. McDonald to the basket, tipped, got it back himself, but then misses again. It was right there. He's one of the Tigers who's averaging in double-digit figures, 10.5 points per game.
Do you have the high school of McDonald? Because I don't have it on my roster.
Not on me, no.
Oh, okay.
Got it at halftime.
He's a tough player.
And they're going to get him for too many steps.
And the Bronx making a few mistakes in the last 4 minutes. Oh.
Almonte with the steal. And the layup from Morris. It's 12-10. McDonald. Bounce pass may have been kicked by Frazier, but no whistle. It went right to Trotman. Bruton. Nice job to get some separation, but he misses the jumper, and there's a rebound by Geathers. And Geathers grabs about 14 rebounds per game. Bruton almost stole it. And there's a tip-in after the miss. It's going to be very tough to deal with Geathers tonight. There's nobody really even remotely close to his height. There's another steal. Morris's jumper is no good. And Anthony Smith comes out with it.
Tigers have to stay calm. It's a tie game right now.
Bruton bounced pass to McDonald, and he put it on the floor. And there's a tie-up. It'll stay with Queensboro.
No, when you're in a tie game, you don't have to rush. I mean, the game is tied. Take your time and make the proper play.
And the Bronx pressure making them speed up a little bit.
Yeah.
And Queensboro calls timeout. Guess he doesn't want to see Bronx go on like an 8 or 10-0 run. He's going to stop it now.
I think Carl has seen a lot of good things tonight, and he wants to keep this one in the ballpark because I really feel he thinks he can win this game tonight. We've seen these type of games a lot. Bronx will come at you with a wave, and then if you can hold on, you kind of break them a little bit. You break the Broncos, and then you somehow eke out a win. I don't know how you do it, but that's the way you have to play.
It's like Groundhog Day sometimes. Queensboro always does enough to hang around, and then there's a bad stretch of 5 minutes, and the doors get blown off.
Well, it's time for these young guys to grow up just a little bit. Just a little bit. I dealt with a team like this many years ago at West Point.
A nice play by Anthony Smith to break up the fast break opportunity. Bruton, corner three, no good, and rebounded by Morris. And Bruton got a hand on it. Fired the pass down there to Geathers, and Geathers puts it in. I think they could just keep going to him all night. Remember Chris Melander on Suffolk a few years ago? He came in here and had 37 points because there was nobody to contend with.
Boy, was he tough that night.
Wow.
Best effort we've seen on this court in a long time.
Trotman answers back, and we're tied at 14. Morris the other way.
You have to want to win this game. That's what you have to. That's what you have.
And there's Geathers again. I think we're going to see a lot of him tonight. He didn't even start. He has 6 points already. Bruton to McDonald. Trotman. Trotman a long three, and it's no good. Anthony Smith with the offensive rebound. Bruton thought about the corner three, goes inside. The lefty shot is no good and rebounded by Geathers.
You've seen the movies Rocky, right?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Well, I'll make my point right after this. Kind of stepped around him.
There's a blocking foul. Would have been big if they could get Geathers for one.
Everybody loves Sylvester Stallone, but let me tell you something. Burgess Meredith was great in those movies, too. And on the Queensboro bench, you hear guys going, yeah, yeah, every time they make a good play. And that's like the Burgess Meredith impetus, you know?
So like Mickey.
Yeah.
You think of things in different ways than I do.
I'm talking about the coaches doing that. So when the guys hear that, it kind of makes them punch a little harder. I was talking to Carl before the game about keep punching, and they are punching down there.
That's the third foul on Anthony Smith. He's actually going in for McDonald, so Smith is staying in with 3 fouls in the first half.
Yeah, he went in for McDonald, and they got to give him a seat.
It's 17-14. Smith had his shot blocked by Geathers, and Trinidad is there, but Geathers almost grabbed the rebound, and Queensboro goes to Trinidad, one of the bigs, to try to match Geathers. That pass was a little off.
He has a little height and a little spryness, so
Mitty across half court. Trinidad back out to Smith. Bruton thought about a three from about 26 feet away or so. They reversed the ball, couldn't get to Trotman. Dangerous, those cross-court passes. Layup no good. Ball is on the floor, and a tie-up, it'll stay with the Bronx.
you just have to accept the fact you're going to make some mistakes against this team, but you got to stay with it and stay mentally sharp and come right back at them.
Anthony Smith to the bench with 3 fouls, and James Wills with 2 fouls is back in, and hoping he doesn't pick up his third. Inbounding alone in the corner for 3, and it's good. Cannot get that alone. And it's Romello Rashad who makes it 20-14 halfway through the first. Trotman. Bronx is on a 12-2 run in the last 3.5 minutes or so. We go inside to Trinidad, and he's tied up. It'll stay with Queensboro.
That'll be Tiger ball. They're playing zone Bronx now, and Tigers look a little befuddled by it, I have to admit.
Here's Wells. No basket. I think they're going to get Rashad for his first foul, and they do. Nice step by Wells to get past Rashad. Already each team has 6 fouls. Wills is going to be called for traveling. Good ball movement by the Broncos. High pass is saved in. Well, behind the back dribbling, they get it to Almonte. Here's another jumper in the corner, and it's good again. It's a long 2. It's Rashad. That's his spot. 22-14. Mitty left his feet to make a pass. You don't want to do that. Almonte to Morris. And there's 3 seconds. The Bronx women were called for that about 4 times in the first game. Now the men get called for it. This is what we spoke about. Bronx could score in bunches.
Oh, they can. And Tigers are going to have to keep their cool right here, because you make mistakes and you see yourself about 15 points down.
Yeah, about 14 points in 4.5 minutes for the Broncos. Wills to Trotman, back to Wills. They go inside Trinidad. It was broken up. And here's Morris the other way. Couldn't lay it in, got his own miss back and puts it in that time. 24-14. Might be danger time for the Tigers. Trinidad to Trotman. Wills. Bruton's asking for it in the corner. Wills takes it himself and puts it in off glass.
Big play by Wills right there.
Little behind the back pass. Basket no good. Gathers keeps. Now he's going to keep. Wow, I don't think they could contend with him.
A young man has ups, and he does it very quickly.
He missed twice, but got it back both times. Wills lost his footing and then throws it away. Almonte fires a pass to Morris. Morris' shot no good. Gathers another rebound. And gathers another basket. Gathers already has 11 points. I don't know if there's anything Queensboro could do unless they get one of those stretching machines. Got Mitty behind the defense, and Mitty almost threw it in. He was fouled by the Broncos.
I don't think it's any time for the Tigers to let up. They're down by 12, but as you said, and we stated, the Bronx can score a lot of points in a hurry, and Tigers have to get back to doing some of the things they were doing earlier.
On a 20-4 run.
It's 20-4.
I think Gathers might put up some Melander-type numbers.
Well,
Mitty hits the first.
At some point, they're going to have to double him up or give some help defensively on him and hope that somebody else doesn't hurt them. The problem with the Tigers is they get in foul trouble, and that is awfully hard to do when you're in foul trouble.
Queensboro's going to get it right back. Bronx couldn't rebound the miss. Bruton will throw in to Trotman. Mitty to McDonald. Wills wasn't expecting it. And there's a turnover. Bronx right back the other way, and Richard Liu lays it in. 30-17. Nice move by Liu. Here's Wills. Oh, that's a tough one. That's number 3 on Wills. Kind of wish he could pull up and take the shot. They're going to have to get him to the bench. And Peralta is going to go in.
Fella had too much size getting back, and there's where Wills has to pull that ball out, and he didn't do it.
Especially with the 2 fouls, he has to pull it out. If he didn't have any fouls, then fine. Go for the aggressive
It's
play.
hard for him because he doesn't like to do that, but...
Oh, what a move by Liu. No good. And then the second chance. Mitty fell down. And then a blocking foul is called.
I'd say, how about a foul on one of those plays? You know, they're getting tossed around a little
Coach
bit.
Mango is saying the same thing. He said, well, there is a foul called, but it's against Queensboro. I don't think that's what you meant, is it?
No. Oh, boy.
Well, you said you
Now-
look up, it could be a 15-point game.
Now they have a tiger by the tail, do the Tigers. Oh.
Can't get the friendly roll.
The free throw people are with them. Now they have to find something else that works, and they're going to bring the little guard into the game and try to stoke up the fire a little.
So Jallo looking to split the free throws. Misses both. Still 30-17.
Sean Nixon.
That pass was almost turned over. Morris got a hand on it and deflected it. And that's one of those stats that doesn't show up in the box score, but deflections could really show how tough a time a team is having making passes. Bruton. And that's a backcourt violation. These guys all leave their feet to make passes.
They're doing a high wire act on that. It's not going to work. And yeah, it's time for that bench to start speaking up a little bit. You know, started out the game with a lot of intensity. They got to try to get that back.
And Geathers is on the bench for the Broncos, so at least Queensboro doesn't have to see him for a few minutes. Lou. Go inside, Jallo. Jallo shot no good. And hauled in by McDonald, but it's ripped away by Morris.
How about one foul going Queensboro's way on this? How about? I mean, they're getting mugged a little bit, Dave. That guy just ripped the ball out of his hands, and I think he got a piece of him when he was doing it.
There's a foul, but it's against Queensboro. 1-1.
You can't let a big athletic guy do that. The Bronx has punched the Tigers in the mouth, and they have to recover from it now.
It's a 24-5 run. They played so well in the first 6 minutes. And that pass gets to Peralta. Peralta lays it in. Queensboro taking advantage of Bronx over pursuing on the pressure. Fake the corner shot inside, pass off, and there's Morris.
Boy, they have it all going, don't they?
Yeah. 34-19. Nixon to Peralta. Peralta for three. It's no good. I don't think that's the shot you want. Wu up ahead.
Stop the ball. You got to stop the ball at some point.
They do. There's a call that goes Queensboro's way.
Offensive foul. All right, finally.
Just like you asked for.
Tigers are not doing a good job of stopping the ball. These guys are getting too far in towards the basket.
Bruton. There's another turnover. And a nifty move. It's Frazier who lays it in, 36-19. Can really get away in a hurry. McDonald to Peralta. Nixon to Bruton. Bruton's shot is good. 36-21. Queensboro answers back. Now they need some stops. There's a long three, and it's good. Rashad from way downtown. 39-21.
They got it pumping on all cylinders.
That's Rashad's third jumper. He has 8 points. And was Nixon out of bounds? He was. Bronx ball.
He has a nice jump shot.
Kind of had our hopes up 6 minutes in. It was 12-8.
Well, there's still time. There's 4:50 to go in the first half, but the Tigers have to stop the bleeding here somehow.
I'm not trying to read Queensboro their last rights, but they need some stops. And Rashad, another jumper. That one is no good.
Oh,
And if they want to get back in, they need some rebounds. Morris with the tip, and it's
it's
41-21.
not going to happen like that, Dave.
No. McDonald. Damon Bryan, number 12, is in now. Nixon launches a three. It's no good. They have to run some offense. They're just hoisting them up. And a nice move by Frazier. They are pouring it on. It's 43-21.
This is starting to look a little like the first game.
It's like Groundhog Day. And there's a rare mistake from the Bronx.
Timeout.
Timeout Queensboro. Exactly 4 minutes to play. They trail by 22. I guess you just say, hey guys, let's just try to get it down to 15 at halftime. You're not going to make up 22 points in 4 minutes. You don't have to.
Well, if you can get it down to 15 instead of them getting it up to 30, then you're doing a good job.
And don't think that's not a possibility.
Because the way it looks right now, it could go up to 30. So, and Mengo takes another timeout. And this game just started to get away from the Tigers, and their equilibrium just got thrown off completely. And
Bronx has about 35 points in 9 minutes.
boy, they really buck at you, these Broncos. And the women's team did the same thing in the first game. And it looks like a repeat, but I think these Tigers have a little more in the tank. I don't think they've they were able to use up all their energy yet. I think they need to just get their confidence back. They really look shaken right now.
So Gathers has 11 points, and Morris has 8, and Rashad has 8, and Frazier has 5. Look at the Queensboro scoring. Trotman leads with 6. Bruton has 5. And then it's pretty quiet after that.
And they've done this without their big guy in the game, too. Frazier has looked terrific. Richard Gathers was on the bench, and they still poured it on.
When it's going your way, it's just going your way. Doesn't matter who's out there as long as they're wearing a Broncos jersey.
Jala, Frazier. A lot of talented kids. But they're another team. When they get in their rhythm, they're hard to beat, but you got to try to get them out of their rhythm. Now they're in their rhythm.
Peralta puts up a 3 from in front of the Bronx bench, and it's off the mark and knocked out of bounds. Now Queensboro is going to go into some full court pressure of their own. And Richard Liu shredded the defense and was fouled.
You know, Carl knows he's got to have guys going after the ball right now, so he brought in Bryan off the bench, and he's tried to get his big players with the fouls off the court. So that's a smart move, because you might have 2 or 3 Tigers fouling out tonight, or a couple.
First one is long. Liu looking to split the free throws, and does. It's 44-21. Nixon crossing half court now. Peralta goes back outside to Nixon. McDonald, nothing but dark jerseys around him. Swings it to Nixon. They reverse the ball. Trotman. It's a long 2, and it's no good. Rebounded by the Broncos. Up ahead, Rashad. And Rashad is fouled. Not just the size, but the speed of Bronx.
Well, if
man.
you let the door open, I mean, they're going to score 9 out of 10 times, maybe 10 out of 10 times on that. So you got to stop the ball at some point. Queensboro has done a very bad job of stopping the ball.
First free throw is off. I think LaGuardia was the only team that held Bronx under 70. They're going to get their points.
They probably dream about scoring points in their sleep when they're home. Something has to happen here for the Tigers to get back in it, and it's got to be from someone like Wills or even McDonald. But McDonald, how many fouls does McDonald have? They're going to
just
have
one for McDonald.
All right, they have to stay out of foul trouble. They really do.
Rashad makes the second. He has 9 points. It's 45-21.
So we said if they could get the lead down to 15, now it's been up to 24.
Queensboro hasn't scored in a while. Here's Damon Bryan. Bryan with the nice move, counted on the foul.
Bryan knew what to do there, Dave. And he gets the lead down to 22. Now you have to pick at it a little bit. And please put the 2 up on the board. Come on, the Tigers are behind long enough.
45-21.
Now we got it.
And there's a turnover.
Now it's up
45-24.
45-24.
Scoreboard has it now. There's another turnover. And it's Rashad and falling down, but it goes to Morris. And Morris almost got his own rebound. So Queensboro dodges a bullet.
Could have been another foul call, by the way. Every time Bronx goes after the ball, they're pushing somebody, and I've seen nothing called.
Well, until it is, they're going to keep pushing.
Well, when you have a 21-point lead, I guess you don't get called.
So it somehow rolls to Rashad in the corner. So I think McDonald had it, but it was laying out of bounds. So Bronx will have it. 2:26 to go in the first half. Bronx started off a little slowly. They only had 8 points in the first 6.5 minutes.
And they can really get up to top speed in a hurry, can't they?
8 points in 6.5 minutes, and they still might get 50 in this half. Here's Rashad. He likes it in the corner. That's no good. Morris the rebound. And Jallo puts it in. It's 47-24.
It's been like a layup machine at times.
Nixon to McDonald. Spin move, but he lost the ball. Under 2 minutes to play. Morris almost dribbled it off his foot. Almonte to Morris. 100 seconds to play in the first. Tough jumper from Rashad, no good, and Mitty with the rebound. Trotman to McDonald. Mitty for 3. No good, way off. Rashad has had a good first half. Kick at Almonte, left alone for 3, but it's short. And then they almost got an offensive rebound. Trotman the other way. Trotman behind the back, but right to a Bronco. End-to-end basketball. Jallo shot is blocked, but he got it back. And then misses. And then there's a foul against the Broncos. Losing my breath here. 1:01 to go in the first.
That's what I mean. Someone like McDonald has to play big, and he played big on that play underneath the basket. That looked like 2, David, and he went up and blocked it. And you're going to take the steam out of these guys because, they are a very confident bunch, Bronx, when they get to make plays like that. But if you can break them a little bit with stopping those plays and making a block like that, then you have them sag a little bit. They haven't sagged very much in these final 14 minutes or 12 minutes of the first half.
Queensboro's really going to need better first halves. It's like all the time they're going into the intermission and they're down by 15 or 20. Don't win a lot of games like that. Here's Almonte. Amante faked the pass and lays it in, and it's 49-25. It's a layup drill. Nixon to Trotman. Trotman thought about the three. Now he takes a three, and it's no good. 35 seconds to go. Morris outside. Almonte, wave off the shot. Traveling is called. It didn't go in anyway. Queensboro can hold for the final shot. 25 seconds.
They've let Bronx have too much fun in this first half. I mean,
41 points in the last 13 minutes. It's fun when you're winning by 24. The Tigers will run some clock. Nixon splits the defenders, gets it to Trotman. Trotman's jumper. Got it back his own miss, and he's fouled with 4 in 1:10 seconds remaining.
all right, let's give Trotman credit. You know, you got to give the Tigers any kind of credit you can give them right now. See someone hustle and stay with it and get them to, sounds funny, within 22, but at least it didn't go to 30.
Trotman leading the Tigers with 7 points.
I think it would be great if he can make this, then they could steal the inbound, but what do you got to lose?
49-27, still 4 seconds left for the Bronx to run something. Got a buzzer beater, it's Tommy Liz. And there's a steal, and Nixon at the buzzer. No good. Well, they got the steal you wanted, but not the basket.
That really would have lit them up a little going into halftime. I mean, not lit them up, but started a little bit of a surge. And it's 22 points at halftime.
Well, that's, we talked about Bronx being able to score in bunches, and they put up 49 in the first half.
Right now, David, the Tigers have to go to the locker room and say, how good are we? Let's find out in this second half, because we just let these guys come in here and do too much in this first half. Let's go and throw everything out there and see what we come up with. What do you got to lose at this point?
Remember 2 weeks ago we were here, they were down by 16 at the half, and they actually took the lead with about 10 minutes to go. Maybe they could tap into that, and we'll see a different Queensboro team in the second half.
It's not going to happen if you let Steve Kelly stand, I call him Steve, see? If you let Sean Kelly stand there and bark orders for his team the whole game without taking them out of it. Because this guy has complete control of his ball club, and they're playing like it right now.
We'll see if the Tigers can make a run at halftime. The Broncos lead 49-27. Second half about to begin. Bronx is leading by 22, and Queensboro is, well, they're going to need to do something here to get back in this game.
Well, Gathers led the way with his 10 points. Morris had 7, Rashad 6, but you know, they got in line after that, David, and it became like layup drills for a certain time, and then they even hit the outside shot. I have to say that. I mean, they have some good-looking outside shooters. How do you disrupt that band of merry men? A little fire. Throw something in there and do battle with them. That's all. A good ball club, no doubt about that.
Tigers are going to have to make sure not to turn it over if they want to get back in this one. And Wills is fouled.
Switched it over to the left hand to avoid having it blocked, and that enabled him to get the ball up to the basket without running over the guy because he didn't want to pick up his, third foul in the game.
3, already has 3, so
he has
4,
3, yes. Good start for the Tigers. Let's take this one piece at a time here.
That one is well short. The old bugaboo, that charity stripe.
It's been a bugaboo for the Tigers tonight. All the Tigers, even the women Tigers. Bugaboo. He got his rebound.
Had it deflected out of bounds. Mitty inbounding. Get it to Wills under the basket, and he puts it in. Nice misdirection play out of the timeout. Now it's Queensboro with a little pressure. Now it's a 3-on-2 for the Bronx. And that shot rattles in for Pierce Bias, his first points of the night.
They didn't stop the ball again.
They held him scoreless in the first half. He's their leading scorer on the season, and they still put up 49. Mitty going baseline, kick out, Bruton for 3 in front of the Queensboro bench, and it's no good. And Wills was hit in the face, a chance for the Bronx. Almonte pull-up jumper, that rims out, and we're gonna have a whistle. And Wills is back up, he's a tough guy.
Yeah, good use of those elbows, Bronx.
Are you saying they're playing physical basketball?
Of course, Wills, you know, he might be trying to soup the Tigers up a little bit too, saying, come on, we got to get these guys off our backs here.
Trotman to Wills. Bruton jumper. No good. Now the Broncos with another chance in transition. And a nice move by Pierce Bias. So he was scoreless in the first half, but
Not
two
anymore.
baskets here, no.
Not anymore. You have to stop the ball.
53-29, Mitty is fouled. No, sorry.
Basically, they're making all the Bronco guards look like Clyde Frazier.
There's a third foul on Pierce Bias.
I'm going to say this to Walt. Don't let that go to your head, Clyde. That horse got let out of the barn a long time ago. You know, when you meet him, though, he's a charming individual. Nice man. He's terrific.
Bruton with the rebound and the basket. And timeout Queensboro after the make. Guess he wants to set up his defense. South Hillel, you finally get some momentum, and then he calls the timeout right after the basket.
Well, you know, it's just that Carl has sat there so many times tonight and watched the Tigers crumble that when they do something well, he wants to stop it right there and say, all right, here's what we have to do in the next 4 minutes. And he knows he's got a team here that is very inexperienced, and the Bronx can put up a lot of points in a hurry. So, unfortunately, he's got to do this.
But he called timeout also when they were up 12-8 early
Well,
on.
there you go.
And he wanted to go over some stuff, but I think Bronx may have set some stuff up.
You made a good point about that. Sometimes you can overdo it.
And Bronx definitely set something up in the first half.
Like Tom Coughlin going for the field goal instead of the touchdown. A touchdown instead of the field goal.
Was asking for it, got it. Almonte directing traffic. Frazier takes Trotman off the dribble to the basket, off glass, 55-32.
Of course, when you call those timeouts, you give Bronx time to rest their collective legs, and then they come back with a play like that too.
That's the danger of calling it when you get a little momentum. You almost stop your own teams. And there's a foul against the Bronx.
He was on his back as McDonald was trying to get that ball. So the foul whistled on Lewis. That's his third, by the way. And I think if you can get a big man out of the game, you'll do good.
Wills, nice fake, and he's fouled.
That's his fourth foul now. 2 quick fouls on the big man. Well, let's see who they call that on.
That is number 4 on Lewis.
A lot of times they haven't called a foul on anybody tonight, but that's besides the point.
Bad news for Queensboro, though. Gathers is going to go back in. And more bad news, Wills misses the first free throw.
All right, you have on this club basically a lot of new players too.
Wills splits the free throws. It's 55-33. And traveling is called. Pierce Bias was saying, hey, I didn't pick up my pivot foot, but doesn't matter. Trotman to Wells. Bruton in the corner, catch and shoot three, it's good. Hey, it's under 20. 55-36, and there's a steal by Wills, but he lost the handle on it.
Stay with it.
Gathers gets it back, and that's going to be a charge.
Oh, a few calls going Queensborough's way now, and basically you want to catch Bronx napping a little bit here, and maybe they think they have the job done, and it's not done yet.
Well, you cannot have that. There have been 5 fouls in this half, all committed by the Broncos. Almonte. Gathers lost a handle on it, and Queensborough will have it back.
I'll tell you one thing, the Bronx guards are very good guards. I mean, there's 2 or 3 of them, and they're not easy to keep up with.
Good bigs and good guard play. McDonald to Wells, crossing half court. Go inside, Middy's shot is good. Hey, it's down to 17. And under 17 minutes to play.
Vladimir Mitty out of Martin Van Buren High School, cutting it to 17. Let's see if the Tigers can keep it rolling here.
And Gathers misses. Pierce Bias touched it last.
Tried the old school play off the leg of Wills, but Wills was already over the line, so it did not stick.
A 6-0 run.
Go another 6-0, and they're in business.
Mitty with the nice move, but he couldn't finish. Would have been nice to get it down to 15. And that might be number 4 on Wells. That's a tough one. He said how.
He actually got caught up in the feet of the guard, and Wills got the call falling backwards.
Amengo's keeping him in with the 4 fouls.
I don't think he has any choice right now, David. Carl's coming out on the court, though, and
not to argue, though. Just
I think he wants to wipe up the wet spot there.
Might be a nice chance to talk to the ref, though, without getting a technical foul.
There he goes.
See, now he's talking to the ref, saying, "Hey, he threw his arm. How's that foul on Wells?" I think the ref is like, "Go back to the bench." Just came out here to say he's wiping the floor, and then actually got a few words in.
Here in the Miami spot of New York in December.
Nice pass. And then Gathers tips it in. Missed the first time, but not the second.
He's a really talented young man.
And Wells dribbled it off his foot. Good defense by Wells. Frazier missed, and then it went off his leg, and if that was a foul, that would have been number 5. That was a risky play.
Wow.
Sean Kelly
Risque.
can't believe it wasn't foul number 5.
And the ref telling him the same thing. Go away, Sean, okay?
And maybe that's a makeup for the last foul against Wells. And then Wells drains a 3.
Wills.
The foul on Wills that shouldn't have been, a foul that should have been, that wasn't, and a 3-pointer.
Wills trying to avoid fouling out and also keep the Tigers in the ball game. Oh.
And Wills blocks Gathers. And now Wills leading the break. Wills coast to coast, but he couldn't finish.
Oh, boy.
Well, that was an entertaining 20 seconds for Wills.
He really deserved that basket, but...
And Almonte left alone. The 3 is good.
Oh, that kills you.
And that's a 5-point swing. Wells misses. Almonte makes a 3. Wells at the other end, another 3 right from where he just hit one, but that one is no good. Almonte the other way. Nice pass. And there's Frazier. And all of a sudden, it's back up to 21. Just when you think they're going to make a run, they don't. Nice step by Mitty, and he puts it in off glass.
They have to follow Will's lead, and Mitty did it on that one. But you get in a track meet with these guys, you're going to lose the game. I mean,
so this has been a helter-skelter minute.
You're down by 19, so you can't go basket for basket with them.
Almonte, that one was from way downtown, and it was no good. Sean Kelly shaking his head. He knows Queensboro is doing just enough to hang around. Trotman for three, and that's no good. That would have been a big one. Frazier back the other way, and Frazier all the way. Number 11 has 11 points at 64-43, under 14 to play. McDonald up ahead to Bruton. Mitty lost it. That would have been a highlight reel play. Pierce Bias lost it. That's getting a little sloppy. Bruton to Mitty. And Mitty misses the dunk. I don't think that's what you need down by 21. Maybe just lay it in. I know you're trying to get the crowd back into it. That could be part of it.
You got to lay that in. As tough as it is, young man, you have to lay that in, or else you're writing this game off if you start doing things like that. You're not going to win this game, you do that. And they know. I mean, they're a little dejected. They know that they're doing the wrong things, but this game got away from them at some point.
I think he got away in the first half. And Geathers has 15 points now.
Yeah, they were playing volleyball on that.
Yeah. And Wills is on the bench with the 4 fouls. Mitty for three, no good, and it goes out of bounds. And this might be where the Broncos start to pull away. We've seen this before.
There's been nothing technically sound about the Tigers' play in the second half.
They always do it in spurts. There's always 4 or 5 minutes here or there. When do you finally put 40 together like they did against Dutchess in a way?
Amengo's gonna bring a kid who did play with a little technical ability, Damon Bryan, back in the game. He's one of the few Tigers that
forgotten man.
It wasn't trying to be a high-flying act, but was making some good plays in there.
And there's a foul on Nixon.
Is a problem because, Bronx is a lot of talent. They're gifted with a lot of physical talent. And if you try to play back that way, you're not going to win the game.
So it's a 23-point game. Richard Liu can't put it in. Geathers.
Wow.
And Geathers is fouled.
Wow.
He is so much bigger than everybody else.
And so much better.
Yes.
I mean,
that too.
He's like a man among boys is what he is.
That's the 4th foul on Nixon. Non-shooting foul because it was when the ball was on the floor.
There are really times when Geathers, this has been like a walk in the park for him.
Nice spin move. Maybe not. He was called for traveling.
Boy, the Tigers started this game out with such promise tonight. I thought
12-8, yeah.
I thought they'd be within 10 right now or in the ballpark.
They were hoping for that as Geathers sends away the shot.
When you look at Geathers, you see a guy who knows he can play.
Well,
That's what you see.
Counted on the foul. Kay McDonald gets in the scoring column. Hadn't scored before that. He's averaging 10.5 per game.
He's a good player, but they haven't had a chance to really lean on him at all tonight because the game has been so fast. And if he can make plays like that and chip away at the lead, it helps. But they have not stopped the Bronx at all tonight.
Wonder if the Broncos get to a part where they start running a little clock. Still over 12 minutes to go, maybe when they get under 10. And Geathers is fouled.
He's doing what he wants whenever he wants. Like that kid Melander who came in here last year. He's starting to do the same thing right now. Was that last year with Melander? Or 2 years ago? Hard to keep track.
Yeah, I know. Definitely wasn't last year.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it was the 13-14 season.
Pretty sure. Now that you said it.
37 points in a 76-47 win. That was something. And Nixon dribbled it off his foot.
Oh man, they can't get a break.
Even when something goes their way, it doesn't go their way.
12 minutes to go, Dave. It's a 20-point game. With the three-pointer, you figure if you could hit three-point shots, you're right back in the game. But Queensboro hasn't even shot the ball well tonight.
Well, there's a three-pointer, but from the other team, it's Richard Lowe, and it's 69-46.
So with a three-point shot, a 20-point lead could become a 30-point lead very quick.
McDonald, nice bounce pass to Smith, but Smith couldn't score. And here's Frazier. Peralta takes it away. Nixon. Smith. Smith to the basket, no good. Bryan couldn't put it in. And Pierce Bias lays it in. I think that might be it. 25-point lead with 11:10 to go.
I think the word steeplechase comes to mind, the way they've done some of those things. 71-46. Well, in some of these cases, though, the Tigers have themselves to blame because they're coming up court, they're throwing up shots, and then they're not getting back. And then at the last moment, they're trying to close in on the very speedy Bronx guards. And that does not add up to a winning formula at all.
1-1. Bryan makes the first.
Queensboro has 1 to 2 players who can handle the ball. Bronx has 4 guards who can handle the ball and just go the length of the court, and they're very good at it. they're almost like big-time college players the way they do it.
It's 71-48.
That's been the difference in the game. I mean, and that's why they score so many points.
And there's another foul. It's on Pierce Bias.
There's a foul.
Doing
it's
a gift. They keep
Bronx.
sending them to the line. Points coming off the lead without time coming off the clock.
And Dave, you know why else they score a lot of points? Because when they get you by the throat, they don't let up.
No.
And so they score a lot of points. They don't care. They just lay the points on. They're not happy yet, and this game is pretty much over the way it's going.
They're not happy until the clock reads 0. So Peralta at the line for a 1-1.
I guess that's Sean Kelly's philosophy. You know, when we have them down, guys, step on them.
Take them when they're down.
Yep. Spoken like a winning coach.
71-50. There's a foul against the Bronx.
You know, Dave, I'm going to give him his credit because we've done 3 men's games here over the course of a couple of months, and when the other teams come in like LaGuardia and Kingsborough, and Lambert Shell's done a good job at Kingsborough. LaGuardia has a pretty good team. But when you're facing Bronx, you got to remember this. You're facing one of the top coaches in the CUNY Conference, which is what Sean Kelly has become. So you got to be ready. You got to be loaded for bear to do battle with any team he has now. And that's how it goes. And that's how it goes on this level in the CUNY. These guys make a path for themselves, and then they just take people out year after year.
Trinidad, Peralta to Nixon. 10:15 to go.
I'm going to give the coach credit, and he deserves it.
Down to 2 on the shot clock. And there's a violation.
And by the way, I'm not taking anything away from Carl. I know Carl's given it his all over there, and he's done as good a job as he can do, but when you're facing the best, you got to come out with your best.
You know it's tough also, and you kind of alluded to this earlier. Both Queensborough's men's and women's teams are struggling, but at least David could point to some CUNY titles in recent years. Carl can't really do that.
That's right. And then he's got to face a guy who's known nothing but success, and it translates right into their uniforms, for goodness sake. Even their uniforms have gotten better over the years.
And it's tough because you're not winning, and then the recruits don't want to go there because they're not winning. And they go, I want to go to a program that's not winning, and then it keeps happening over and over.
Then they want to go somewhere and no other place and say, well, I want to play for Bronx. I mean, that's a good ball club. That's a team that always wins.
Also, it's tough to recruit here because we're kind of in the middle of nowhere.
And believe me, I hear these kids talk. I mean, I go get my coffee in the morning, and kids tell me all the time, my friend played for so-and-so and this and that. They have their own opinion on everything.
75-50. We're under 10 minutes to play. Wills. It's a blocking foul.
And let's be honest, this is only a 2-year experience. Then you go on, you play another 2 years somewhere else.
Wills misses both, and then it's saved in. I think they could run a little clock now. It's Richard Blue for 3. He has 13. Bronx has a 28-point lead. Bruton tries to answer back and does. That was from way downtown. Bruton's been one of the bright spots this year on a struggling team.
Yeah, Bruton can play. But he's certainly not going to do it himself at this point. Oh,
nice pass.
Yeah, they're playing a little fire wagon basketball now. That's the problem. I mean, let's hitch up our wagons and go, guys. And when you do that, you make everybody look like the Miami Heat with LeBron James and the other guys. I forgot about Dwayne Wade already.
And LeBron's back in Cleveland.
Yeah, and was Dwayne Wade good in his prime? He was a very good player. I mean, he has to take a back seat to nobody. So, yeah, he's back in Cleveland, and he didn't have any teammates to play that final with last year.
80-53. 8.5 minutes to go. Bruton asking for it. He's all alone. They didn't get it to him, though.
But Dave, how about the Knicks? They're doing pretty well, huh? I mean,
Especially when you go 17 and 65 last year.
yeah, they're playing pro basketball now.
Low. I think this is the part where they start running a little clock. And there's a foul.
There you go. And we were talking, as we said, to longtime authority on basketball, Larry Danzler, over here before the game, and we were talking about Sebastian Telfair, and I think a lot of people would have loved to see Telfair at least step on the court at Madison Square Garden, but it never happened, you know, him becoming a Knick.
No, the Marbury comparisons hurt.
Yeah, yep. And now we were trying to figure out where he was, and Larry told me he might be in Milwaukee, so I don't know. I got a picture of him right here in my book from about 12 years ago, playing with Lincoln, and those were some great days over there. I mean, those guys, they were wiping people out.
Speaking of wipeouts, Queensboro, tough game.
Tough game. Oh,
And Wills was out of bounds, so it'll stay with the Broncos.
I want to mention one more thing, and then
Sure.
I'll drop it, but Tiny Morton did go back to Lincoln.
Yeah.
He had been with Seton Hall for a while on the bench, and he wanted to go back to Lincoln and bring them a few more championships.
He has returned.
Has returned, Tiny.
Bruton got behind the defense, and then they catch up to him, and then they foul him.
Bruton looks like such a mild-mannered kid, bespectacled on the court, and he's such a quiet kid, but you'd like to see him explode in a game, and it's not going to be on this day, but hey, young players, you never know. You might be surprised. You might come out of here one night and see him score 24 points or something.
Remember the game we did against BMCC last year? Eric Light had 28 in the second
Yeah.
half. You never would have
Yeah.
seen that coming.
Yep.
It's starting to look like another season that Queensboro might miss the CUNY playoffs.
Well, you know, the tough thing, David, is they're going to have to win a majority of their games on the road now in the second half. They're going to have to go to these schools and win.
And this is going to drop them to 0-5 in conference play. I don't know what you say when everybody comes back for the spring semester.
Well, they might bring yet another player in at the halfway point. We'll have to see. But
True.
they have to go to Bronx. They have to go to LaGuardia. They have to go to Kingsborough. And then they have Hostos and BMCC coming in here. So
Trotman for 3. No good.
I still think it's too early to write this team off because a few years ago when Bobby Holford was here, that team was not doing very well for a
No.
long period of time.
Wasn't quite this bad either.
No, not quite at this level.
It's still 81-53 with 6:12 to go.
Well, we've seen the other performances. This is one of their poorer performances on this court. Probably the poorest I've seen.
They played well for about 7 minutes.
About.
Some of those were, again, Coach Mango is going to say, is this it? It's all we can do? Put 7 minutes together? At some point, we're going to have to put 40 together. And they did beat Dutchess the other night.
That's good.
Yeah. Duchess only has one win. I think the focus really has to be on the first half also. Seems like every game they're going into the locker room down by 20.
Just such a big hole to dig out of. I mean, it just uses you up after a while, even mentally. It's very hard.
Tommy Liz with the layup. It's 83-53.
Then you see guys who haven't played all night come in the game and start scoring on you.
Yeah. 5 minutes to go. And there's Tommy Liz again. And Mitty fouls him.
See, now this game is well over. And Tommy Liz is playing, to move up on the chart.
Yeah.
And right there, that's the difference between these two teams, unfortunately. This is a program well underway, and this one is a little lagging right now. So you got to admit, Dave, that's tough to beat. I mean, you know, you're going to have to go out there and make no mistakes, play your best game, and the Tigers didn't even come near it tonight. For a full game, anyway.
85-53. And this is one where, as the phrase is, just fill in the stats from here on out.
Yep.
Bruton, another three. He has 16 tonight. Mitty double teamed in the corner to Wells. Mitty's shot is no good. And Lou lays it in. He has a quiet 15 tonight.
Yeah, quiet.
4 different Broncos in double digits, and Trotman lays it in.
That's the way they do it. Quiet and devastating at the same time.
Because it's not one guy doing it.
That's right. And that's when you say you're pumping on all cylinders in the vernacular.
I didn't even realize Frazier has 16 for them.
As well as Geathers has played and as good as he is, the guards have stolen the show at times. Yes.
And Bronx is going to move to 3-2 in conference play. You can never count them out.
You won't either.
No.
I used to watch CW Post play every year, and that's what this reminds me of. New players come in, and there's no drop-off. It's the same thing, you know.
Mitty for 3. It's no good.
Now, by the way, I think they're LIU Post. That's what they go by.
James Wells lays it in. Hey, he's in double digits, 10 points.
They closed up shop a long time ago. Ooh, a little dipsy-do there, right?
Hey, we still have to see who's going to finish as the Broncos' leading scorer.
Or who's going to have the best highlight film.
Yeah. Bruton, another 3. We're under 2 minutes to play.
Well, the Tigers don't have anything coming up till after the break, right? After the holiday break. So they've got to collectively do a lot of soul searching and think about what they want to accomplish in the rest of this 15-16 season.
Tommy Liz lays it in, and Bronx gets to the 90-point plateau. It's 91-60.
And they have to go home, David, and if they really want to be competitors, they got to circle Bronx on their calendar. If they have a schedule at home, put a circle around Bronx. Say, we're looking forward to that game there.
I think they'll have to circle all the CUNY games.
But that seems like a long time away. That's the whole thing, isn't it?
And the other big thing, you want to keep everybody eligible, because that's never a guarantee at this level.
Did you remember James Scott? I remember a game James Scott was playing in when he first came to the Jamaica campus, and he had a horrid night against some team, and they blew them out. I said, here's what you do, James. Circle them on your calendar and remember them, and go out and do the same thing to them next time. What am I going to tell a kid?
Yeah.
He was an All-American, this kid.
Final minute of play. Queensboro down by 30. Queensboro hung around for a little while, but this was a dominating performance, no doubt about it.
Yep.
93-61. Ryan puts it in.
Now, this is the best ball club we've seen so far this year, this Bronx team.
No, we haven't seen BMCC yet.
We'll see them.
Yeah.
And they're better than Kingsborough. They're better than LaGuardia at this point, from what I've seen. I'm not even talking about record. I just think the combination of players. So 2 of those teams are going to wind up in the final anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Liz puts up one final 3 and hits. And so the final score, 96-63.
Funny thing, though, David, sometimes teams are only as good as you make them look, and Queensboro did their part to make Bronx look very, very good tonight.
Well,
so
nothing much left to be said about this one.
No.
Any final thoughts? I think we really covered everything.
You know,
right?
we'll look forward to this team growing from this particular game, because this was it was an embarrassment on their home court. And if they don't get upset about this now, then they're not going to win very many games. I mean, they got to pick on somebody else. I mean, somebody that's not of this caliber, and they got to get in the win column in the conference.
Yes.
And they have to make it a point. And I don't think Carl or anybody can make them do that. They have to want to do that. So we'll see what happens along the way.
All right. So Queensboro is now 0-5 in conference. Broncos move to 3-2.
By the way, it's still a young enough team to hope that that's going to happen. So it's not all bad. It's not all bad. Have a wonderful holiday season, everybody.
Well, for Joe Massey, this is QCC alum David Russell. The final score, Bronx 96, Queensboro 63. Thanks for watching.